General Tso's chicken has become an American staple. Fiery, sticky sweet, and irresistibly crunchy. But here's the twist. It isn't Chinese. In this episode, we'll trace its evolution from a traditional Hunan recipe to its Taiwanese reinvention to the sweet American classic beloved around the world. I'll cook all three versions and uncover how one humble chicken dish conquered America. Press start to continue cooking. All right, the history of General Tso's chicken is fascinating. First off, let's start off with General Tso himself. Did he ever eat his own chicken? The answer, of course, is no. Aww. General Tso was a real Chinese general from Hunan province, where the flavors of this dish come from. He was active in the 19th century and he died in the late 1800s. Probably his most famous military exploit was capturing Xinjiang province, which is where we got food like cumin lamb and big plate chicken. So it's in the far west of China, but he was a very successful, very well-regarded Chinese general. You can see statues of him in Changsha, which is the capital of Hunan province today. The dish was invented in the 1950s, and the dish was named in honor of him. So people definitely know who General Tso is in Hunan province. Now, before I show you how to make General Tso's chicken as we know it today, let's take a step back and look at a Hunan classic dish that might have inspired its flavors, Numbing-and-Hot chicken. This is a dish that might have been eaten by General Tso himself and certainly inspired the chef who created General Tso's chicken. For the Hunan-style Numbing-and-Hot chicken, you will need the following ingredients.
So each of these packets of chicken thighs is about 700 grams. So I'm going to be splitting this one into two, which we'll use for our first two recipes. This is everything we need for stir frying our Numbing-and-Hot chicken. The peanut oil is not here. I'm going to be deep frying the chicken in that, and then I'll use some of the peanut oil to fry the vegetables in the wok. But we have our marinated chicken, we have the ground Sichuan peppercorns, we have our sauce, and we have our green onions and red bell pepper, and we'll add a little bit of sesame oil at the end. So I've put about, I think, 1.5 liters or 1.5 quarts of peanut oil in here. This one we're not going to fry as much, for about 30 seconds until it becomes pale. And we're going to fry it a second time. So I'm going to bring it all in. Okay, that should be enough for now. We'll have to separate it a little bit, but that's all right. We have a lot of the skin crisping up super nicely on there. I pulled a recipe that I know comes from the late 1800s in Hunan, and there were lots of restaurants apparently in Changsha that were serving this Numbing-and-Hot chicken recipe, which in Chinese is called ma la ji ji. Of course, pronounced terribly there. Uh-oh, I lost a chicken. Chicken down. So we're getting a little bit of that kind of golden color on the outside. And these are small pieces of chicken, so it will cook quickly. So I'm draining these on a wire rack. Okay, it's wok time, baby. High heat. And once it starts smoking a little bit, it will heat up extremely quickly. We are going to add our red peppers and green onions, red bell peppers. Give those a toss. And again, this is going to go fast, guys. So we're also going to add our chili powder and Sichuan peppercorns. I'm going to give that a stir. And you'll be able to smell it. Give us a few tosses, because we want it to be fragrant. We're going to add our fried chicken in now. Incorporate it around the edge. And that's it, guys. Easy. So here is our original Hunan dish, Numbing-and-Hot chicken.
But how did traditional Hunan dishes like Numbing-and-Hot chicken turn into General Tso's? Well, that's thanks to the inventive Chef Peng, who took these Hunan flavors and concocted his own recipe. Let's learn about Chef Peng and see the original recipe for General Tso's chicken.
So Chef Peng was born in Hunan province, and he trained from a very young age as a chef with some of the most illustrious chefs in Changsha. He actually became the lead banquet chef for the Chinese nationalist government. This was the wing of the Chinese government that was run by Chiang Kai-shek, and this is also the Chinese government that lost the Chinese Civil War to the Chinese communists under Mao. Chiang Kai-shek and the nationalists then fled to Taiwan to set up the nationalist government there, which is why there is a rift between mainland China and Taiwan today. After 1949, when they fled to Taiwan, they continued to operate in Taiwan, and Chef Peng was still the nationalist banquet chef. So he was officially part of the government. He was in charge of making their food for their very important state and diplomatic occasions. And in the 1950s, this is where he invented the prototypical version of General Tso's chicken.
真正是做中当家，我觉得是发明的老祖宗。
Now, this is still derived very much from the spicy and sour flavors of traditional Hunan cuisine. And it is this dish that we are going to be making today.
For the original Taiwanese General Tso's chicken, you'll need the following ingredients.
Here are all the ingredients we need to stir fry our original style General Tso's chicken: our marinated chicken, garlic and ginger, the sauce, and we've got 8 to 10 whole Chinese red chilies and a little bit of sesame oil. We'll also be deep frying this in peanut oil. Now we're gonna deep fry the chicken for the original General Tso's chicken. And this says just to fry the one time. I want this to be actually up at 375 because we're only frying it the one time. You can use a wok for this, by the way. So normally you would just deep fry it in the wok and then remove the oil, but because I'm doing several different batches of fried chicken, I don't wanna have to like fill it up, then empty the wok, then fill it up with oil and heat it up again. Plus, this retains heat better than a wok does because the wok is a thinner carbon steel and this is cast iron. Here is our original General Tso's chicken. This is not breaded. Here are our chicken strips. They've fused together a little bit, but we'll separate them and we're gonna drain the oil out right now. And we are going to add our whole chilies, and we're not gonna burn them, we hope. What we wanna do is just toast them a bit before we add the rest of the aromatics. So as you can see, they're darkened now. I took it off the heat, but they're still dark. So we are going to now add our garlic and ginger, all of it. Max 30 seconds really on this one, guys. Then what we're gonna do is give our sauce a stir, add it around the room. In goes our chicken to reheat it. Take it off the heat.
So now we know about the original General Tso's chicken, but how did that leap into modern American General Tso's chicken?
There is another chef, perhaps a little bit more devious, named T.T. Wang. At first, he was the chef for the ambassador to Japan from the nationalist government. And then T.T. Wang ended up following that ambassador to Washington, D.C. when he became the ambassador to the United States of America. And by the late 50s, he had left being the personal chef to the ambassador to America. He then moved to New York and started a series of restaurants. And in 1972, he opened a restaurant called Hunan. And Hunan is where we get the modern version of General Tso's chicken that was breaded, deep fried, and made sweet for the American palate. So there you guys go. Now I know too much about General Tso's chicken, and so do you.
Next time you go to a Panda Express and you order it, you think about this story, okay?
You think about T.T. Wang and his recipe thievery.
For the modern American-style General Tso's chicken, you'll need the following ingredients.
Here are ingredients for our American-style General Tso's chicken. We have our marinated chicken. We have our reserved marinade from earlier. This is the crucial step. We're going to only use half the marinade on the chicken. This is a little bit under half a cup of marinade. So I'm gonna pour a little less than a quarter cup in here. We have our sauce, we have our aromatics, and we have our breading. So we're gonna add our reserved marinade to this. And the point is we're gonna add a little bit of moisture and whisk it because we want to create a small amount of clumps within our batter. This is Kenji's way of making batter. We want the clumps to actually stick to our chicken, and they're gonna be lumps on the outside of the breading, which are going to fry. So the lumps are going to stick to the chicken and are going to fry to create a coarser texture. To create a coarser texture, you're gonna take the chicken pieces one at a time and go ahead and make sure that they are coated in the breading. Now what this will look like, if you're doing it properly, is that you will have these clumps of dried mixture, and you want the clumps. This is good, because the clumps are going to make it more crunchy and catch sauce better and more delicious.
Can you just stick all the chicken in there first? And
No, it won't coat very well, and it'll add too much moisture at once. Doing one piece at a time is probably best. I just gave up and started doing like 3 or 4 at a time. And now the frying will commence. I don't think I can fry all of this at the same time. There's too much chicken. So I'm gonna try and do about half at a time. That should be a good amount. Yeah, you look at that. You know. And the more texture it has, the better the sauce is gonna stick to it. You want 3 or 4 minutes, and we want to start getting some browning on there, but remember, we're gonna fry them again. Okay, so here's the second frying. It's gonna go back in. I'm gonna try and put all of it in, but we'll see how much fits. We don't have to worry about it really sticking together anymore because it's already fried and it's not, you know, the ingredients aren't wet and sticky. So I'm not worried about making a giant ball of chicken like I would have been earlier. Probably not the ideal way to do this. It will drop the temperature less because the chicken was already warm instead of it being cold. So yeah, we're doing fine. So you just need a couple minutes in there. We're just trying to get it that nice golden brown color. So as you can see, the color has changed pretty significantly, but we still have these really, I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'm just scraping my nail against it for your ASMR pleasure, but it's like really crunchy. All right, here we have our aromatics for the American style General Tso's. We have our minced green onion, minced ginger, minced garlic, and our whole chili peppers. As we start the sauce, we just want to get these cooking for a little bit. I'm using a silicone spatula. We're not cooking, we're only cooking at medium heat. Okay, so this is the sauce that we made earlier with all the sugar. And the sauce and the cornstarch are not gonna be fully in solution yet, but that's what the heat is for. And we wanna bring this to a simmer. And then all that sugar is gonna melt right into the sauce. And we're gonna wanna thicken this sauce. So you can see by the way it's bubbling, like the sugar is in there, it's becoming more viscous. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we took it off the heat, and this sauce should be plenty warm at this point because it was just simmering. And then I'm gonna fold it into the sauce gently with this silicone spatula. So I'm gonna just give it a good mix here. And what the sauce is gonna do is get into all those like fried chicken crags that we made. So here are our 3 versions of the evolution of General Tso's chicken. All right guys, we're gonna try the Numbing-and-Hot chicken, that original Hunan dish. Very sour from the vinegar, deep soy sauce flavor, fresh vegetables, very simple, a little bit spicy, a little bit of that numbing from the Sichuan peppercorn, very good. And that changes to our original General Tso's chicken from the 1950s. This one still has that sourness, but a little bit of creaminess as well. You get the garlic and the ginger flavor. And, you know, the tomato paste is very strong in this one, so it's a little bit more depth. A little bit of sweetness from that tomato. and a little bit more interesting on your palate due to the aromatics. Lovely dish. Finally, this is General Tso's chicken as you might imagine it in America today. Deep fried and battered, covered in a sugary sweet, yet tangy and spicy sauce. Really sweet, but you get that hit of the spice and you still get the nice balance off of the vinegar. Very crunchy, very satisfying. Absolutely delicious, absolutely terrible.